11th hour for your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Our idiom for today is the 11th hour or 11th hour. This is, of course, a reference from the Bible. And in the Bible, the 11th hour is the last hour before the end of the world. Okay, kind of a grim way to start a thought or something, but it just is a reminder that nothing is forever, including our world, apparently. It's the last hour of light before darkness, right? Right before sunset, or darkest before the dawn, right before the sun rises. So the 11th hour is an expression that means putting things off to the very last possible moment, waiting until the last minute or second before a deadline before you finish a project or finish something. Now this assumes that you actually get it done on time and you meet the deadline. So many things come up for me when I hear the expression 11th hour. I'm sure my parents told my sisters and I at some times that we were, working till the 11th hour or in school when we were doing a project. How many kids haven't had 3 weeks or 3 months to do a project or get ready for an exam or write a huge paper only to find out that it's due tomorrow or in 2 days and they haven't even started it yet? Anybody guilty of that? Or anybody actually done that before? I did that. That's one of those things that I personally learned through trial and error, that it was really, really painful to put things off to the last minute. Painful for nobody else but me, and no one else to blame but me, because I was the one that chose to do other things instead of breaking that project down or breaking that paper down and doing the research ahead of time. And I learned that after a couple of bad, stressful, freaking out experiences of barely getting it done and in and under the wire, and then never feeling really very good about it because I knew that I'd rushed and just kind of thrown it together at the last minute, instead of doing it ahead of time, then reviewing it and editing it and doing a better job and making sure I turned in a project that I was proud of or a paper that I was really proud of. And after a couple times of that, and it wasn't even whether I got a good grade on it or not, it was how I felt about turning it in, how I felt about just squeaking in under the wire, just in the nick of time getting something done. Didn't really feel that good. And it created all kinds of stress and tension and struggle and bad feelings in my life that I put myself through. Nobody else made me wait till the last minute to do my projects. I chose to do that. And after a couple of experiences of just barely getting things in on time, I learned that isn't really the best way for me to get projects done or to do things or to meet deadlines. We human beings tend to, life is like a vacuum, right? There's all this time and all this energy that we can choose to fill any way we want. And no matter what happens, I can't remember what law it is. Is it Parkinsons Law that says that the size of the task and the amount of time to complete the task will automatically fill. I'm totally messing that up, but the point is that no matter how much time we have, we will use all the time that we have in order to perform that task. It's a better way of explaining it. And we do that. I still do that in certain things, in certain areas and aspects of my life. Taxes, for example. Have you ever waited till the very last minute to do your taxes or to send in your tax return? Now this year we all got a little grace period and have a longer time to do that. But normally April 15th, have you seen the lines and the people at the post office? I remember mailing my taxes one year, and I had to drive downtown St. Paul because our post office was closed earlier. How ridiculous was that? That was back when I actually did my own taxes for my ex-husband and I. And then as businesses, we got involved in too many businesses and our taxes got more complicated, and the tax laws got more complicated and it was harder to keep up on. I had to hire an accountant and get rid of that. And that was actually one of my favorite and first things that I outsourced for my businesses, was getting an outside tax advisor and tax accountant to do all that for me. And he still filed them on April 15th. And now with electronically, you can push that button at the very last minute on April 15th and file them electronically. So who's ever done that? Anyone? But we put things off. I think it's human nature to put things off until we realize that we can save ourselves a lot of pain, a lot of heartache by preparing and breaking things down. I'm a huge believer of doing one thing every day to move you and to move myself toward what I want now, instead of, thinking that this is my goal, this is my objective, and I have to get there in a week. I'm like, okay, this is my long-term objective. This is what I need to do every day to make sure that I get there, to make sure that I achieve that goal or objective. My ex-husband and I did a lot of real estate deals, and I remember, you've got that nail-biting moments where you're waiting for the contract deadline either to come in or expire one way or another, depending on which side of the real estate transaction you're on. And it was stressful, and it was unnecessarily stressful. If you know you're going to do something and you want to move in a certain direction, just start moving there now. The best time and the only time we can do anything is right now. So instead of putting things off and procrastinating, especially for our businesses, have your long-term vision and focus and where you want to go in mind, and always be working toward it. You and everybody else in your organization, each and every day. Number one, it helps you to make decisions that are consistent with your long-term vision and your long-term goals and objectives for your business. So often, when we're not clear on where we're going as a business or as a human being, we make all kinds of choices and decisions for trial and error to figure things out, to figure out what is right for us, but we waste a lot of time and energy along the way. Now, it's okay to waste time and energy, especially when we're young. We can do things and we can try different things and we can figure out what is right for us. But as we are growing a business and an organization that we want to use to make the world a better place and have an impact on the world, we got to have a better vision for that and be working toward it each and every day, and be clear so that people know what to expect, so that they know what their part in that vision is, what role they can play to make it easier to achieve your goals and objectives without waiting till the 11th hour. Now, as a leader and business owner, ask yourself, do you set projects up and set things up that cause stress and strain for your customers, your vendor partners, for your employees or your teammates, the people that you work with, for yourself? Because sometimes we don't realize that we're setting artificial deadlines in place that stress people out that aren't really that important. Now, there are absolutely positively deadlines and times, and if you don't set dates on things, things will never get done. Because of Parkinson's Law, the amount of time allotted to a task will expand, the task will expand to fill the amount of time that you allot to it. That's why I, a long time ago, went to a 90-day versus an annual plan. I do everything, and I have for, at least 20 years now, in 90-day blocks, 90-day bursts. So instead of having 1 year in a year, I have actually 4 years in a year. I break my year into four segments. I think they call it, who's got that? Somebody's got a book out on that, the 12-week year or something. And I've been doing that for decades, where instead of thinking in terms of years, I can get as much done in 4 years as most people get done in 1 year, just because of the way I set my deadlines for me personally and my timeline. Now, I don't put that pressure on people that I work with, but I do that with my projects. So each of my projects has 90-day blocks, 90-day deadlines. My big projects. And that's just how I've set it up for a really long time. And it made it so that I could accomplish things, but I was working on them every day of the 90 days. I wasn't waiting until day 89 to get my 90-day goal going. It just doesn't work out that way. Love to know your experience with the 11th hour, procrastination, putting things off to the last minute, just coming in under the wire with a deadline. Those are great stories, and they help to motivate us to know that and remind ourselves that absolutely anything is possible as long as we believe that it's possible for us and our business and the impact we want to make. Have an amazing day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you apply it in your business?